Hey everyone, I'm back again after probably at least 3 months or so. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, so I'm gonna have to kind of get back into the swing of things here. I've just been super busy, there's been a lot of stuff going on. Nothing bad, just like, busy over the holidays, stuff like that. But today I wanted to kind of fulfill my promise on my last video where I'd talk about games I've been playing. And since it is a new year, I've seen a lot of other YouTubers kind of do like a top games of 2023 list. I think that's a fine idea, but I actually can't even do a video like that because I don't think I bought any new games in 2023. What I really did was just concentrate on besides like just picking up like games from pawn shops and stuff, I wanted to go back into my backlog and just play games that I already had, that have been waiting for me to enjoy. And so that's what I did last year. I think there's only one new game on my list here, and even that's from like 2022. So anyway, I'm just going to talk about like all the old games I played last year that I really enjoyed, and I'll see, I guess, if you guys feel the same way about them. So the first one I'll talk about is, of course, it's a classic, Chrono Trigger. I played this early in 2023. Sometimes I just get an itch, like I've owned this game ever since it came out. I've gone through it a dozen times, but I don't know, it's just kind of like one of those comforting games. Like I'll just suddenly, get the urge to do a playthrough of it, every couple of years or so. But this year I did something a little different. I played it on this multi-cart that I got off eBay. I think I bought this like maybe 2 years ago or so. And I was a little hesitant to play Chrono Trigger on it because it is, just a cheap repro cart from China. And I didn't know if the saves were going to work. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I'm happy to report I did go through all the way on the game. I beat it. And the saves worked fine. I didn't have any like corrupted files or any bugs or any crashes or anything. So I was pretty pleased with this little cart. And I do recommend this cart, actually. It's got a bunch of really good Super Nintendo games on it. And it works just perfectly in your Super Nintendo. So that's what I did. I just played on my old Super Nintendo with my CRT, that's behind the camera here. And I just had a blast with it again. Now the next game I played, this one was recommended to me by my buddy Dean, I think. This one is from 2013, and it's the Tomb Raider reboot. Now, there is a PS4 version for this too, but I just got, the original version. I think I bought it at a pawn shop, like years ago. I don't even remember when, but it's just kind of been sitting around waiting for me to play. And, my buddy Dean's like, "Oh, Phil, you got to play that game. It's really good." So I said, "Okay, I'll play it." And I actually agree. It's really good. Now, I kind of knew what this was beforehand. I heard, a lot of people talking about it at the time. And I knew it wasn't like a continuation of the original classic Tomb Raiders. So I kind of went into it that way, knowing like, okay, I just have to look at this like as something different, not really judge it like compared to the old games. So that's what I did. And I was really impressed with it. The graphics on it, even though this is a PS3 version, I thought the graphics were just superb. And it could have been a little better with the frame rate, but like all the textures and everything, they really put just a lot of work into making this game look really good, which is good by itself, but also just like the mechanics of the game are pretty good too. I haven't played a whole lot of the Nathan Drake series, what is it? Uncharted? I don't know. I forget. I'm blanking at the moment. But anyway, I've just played a little bit of those games, but I kind of got the feeling like it was the same kind of gameplay as those. And, you play as Lauren, you're on this island basically, and the level design of this island is really imaginative. I mean, you're going like way, way, way up high. It's like a mountain basically in the middle of the ocean. So you're kind of trapped on this island throughout the game with all these baddies, and you're killing all the bad guys and stuff. And that's one of like the things I wasn't really ready for, I guess, is just all the bad guys that you're killing throughout the game. You know, like in the old Tomb Raider games, you're mostly just kind of exploring caverns, stuff like that, and maybe shooting the odd animal here and there. This one, Laura's murdering like literally hundreds of people on this island. But she's also like fighting ghosts and all this kind of stuff. It's a really way out there game. But I thought the story was pretty good, you know. And once I played all the way through it, I'm like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. You know, I think I want some more of that. So I also had this game in my backlog, and I immediately went from this one to this one. And the graphics on this were way better. 60 frames a second, you know, the landscapes were just beautiful on this one. But I've got to say, I don't think they did a great a job making this one as the first one. I noticed like the level designs were just like a lot more generic feeling. You're just kind of like running through like Siberia or something for a lot of the game. And it really didn't feel, like they put a whole lot of work into just like the story and you know, making a genuine something you want to keep playing. They put most of the work into just trying to make the game really big, I think. But it's like really big, but it's also kind of just a little generic feeling. Like the tombs you go through are very easy most of the time. They're fun, but they're not really a challenge. You know, most of the challenge in this game is just like fighting off animals and bad guys, you know, stuff like that. So I did enjoy this one, but I didn't feel the need to play the third remake. There's 3 of these games total, and after this one, I felt like I had enough. I don't feel like I want to play the third one. And the big question that I've heard people talk about, and something I thought about afterwards, was, you know, if this game wasn't called Tomb Raider, if the character wasn't called Lara Croft, you know, if she was called, you know, Mountain Climber Kate or Commando Karen, you know, something like that, then would I even know I was playing a Tomb Raider game? And I really had to think about it, but honestly, I don't think I would. Like, if this game wasn't called Tomb Raider, I would think I was playing like some kind of Nathan Drake game, you know, like maybe a spin-off of it or something. I wouldn't think that I was playing an actual Tomb Raider game because the character of Lara is not like the Lara you think of from like the original ones at all. She's very different, and she's kind of like weak throughout a lot of this first game, and she just gets the crap beaten out of her. And in these cutscenes, you're just seeing her like really pummeled, and she's like crying and stuff. It was a little hard to watch, actually. I was kind of surprised to see that they stuck that in there. I'm like, wait, this is Lara Croft, you know, Tomb Raiding badass? No, this is like some, I don't know, I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, I didn't feel like I was playing a Tomb Raider game. But if you can get past that, you know, if you just like look at this game like a standalone game and not compare it to the old Tomb Raiders, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it, as did I. So yeah, I actually recommend these, even though they're not perfect games. And another older one I played, this one I had sitting around ever since I got the Wii U, actually. This was one of the first games I wanted to buy for it because I heard nothing but great things about this game. And that's Zelda Breath of the Wild. I finally did play it. I know probably all you guys watching this played this years ago. I think I got like, you know, best game of the year, whenever it came out, I forget. 2017. Wow, that's old. That's like 7 years old already. But yeah, I played this on my Wii U, and I thought it was excellent as well. And I'm not going to like talk a whole lot about it because everyone's talked this game to death. But I wanted to say that I'm not really even a Zelda fan. I never played the original Zelda when the NES was out. I played it a little later, and actually I didn't really get very far into it. I thought it was a little basic for me because that was actually the second Zelda game I'd ever tried. The first Zelda game, which is still probably my favorite that I played, is Link to the Past. And I got that, you know, when it was brand new. I've got heavy nostalgia for that one. And I've played that one probably a dozen times through too. But honestly, that's the only game I've played in the Zelda series other than this one. So when I did play this one, I was really kind of surprised to see that to me it almost felt like a remake of something that was like Link to the Past. I mean, not like the same story and everything, but just like the Zelda world, everything you're doing, you know, you're collecting stuff and going on little quests and everything like that, doing missions for people. And the whole world, it felt like if I wanted to make a remake of Link to the Past, I would have made this. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. It's just like, even though it's like a very cartoony game, the world in it feels very real. I thought they did a really good job of that. You know, there's all these crazy characters running around and very difficult monsters and puzzles. Excellent puzzles in this game. And that's what I think really makes a good Zelda game, is the puzzles. The combat is, you know, it's okay. And you do get some really interesting boss battles in this game too, I want to say. And I think I put about 60 hours on this one to beat it. And I completed like everything. I did every tomb, or not tomb, every I forget what you call the dungeons in them, like shrines or something. But I did all of those. You know, I didn't find all the little acorn guys. I forget what they're called too, but you just find them around. But they're like hundreds of these things that you just find throughout the world. And if you really were like a hardcore completionist, it would probably take you like 100 hours to find everything in this game. So it's a really massive game. Even though this came out on the Wii U, I think it was like one of the first games that came out on the Switch too. They did a really good job on it. And I know the Tears of the Kingdom game is supposed to be really good too. Most people I've heard say it's not as good as Breath of the Wild. But I'm not going to play it anyway because I don't have a Switch. So but I am really happy that I got around to playing this one finally. The next one I want to talk about, this one I actually got the idea to play during Halloween time. I really wanted like a spooky game. And I started playing Condemned Criminal Origins on the Xbox. But honestly, I didn't get very far into it. I thought the game was a little clunky, and it wasn't really what I was expecting either. I was just kind of like going through these dirty abandoned buildings, like thwacking guys with a pipe, and I'm just like, this is kind of boring. So I might go back to that again someday. But what I did, you know, pick up and just have a blast I had a blast with this Halloween was my old copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night that I have on my old PS1 here. I burned this copy probably like over 20 years ago. And this is my modded PS1 that I've had ever since then too. And I played Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I really loved it. It was really just good to come back to this. I don't think I played it for maybe 10 years, but it still holds up. It's like probably one of the best Castlevania games I've ever played still. And just a side story about this PS1. I hadn't touched it for a while. It was just sitting in like one of my drawers over here, and I brought it out, and it didn't really want to work. I started it up, and it gets into the little you know, video sequence in the beginning of the game. It's like chop, chop, chopping, sputtering. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm checked the disc, I checked the lens, everything looks okay. And after like 3 attempts at getting into the game, it finally decided to work. I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird. Did it just need to warm up or something? You know, it was weird. And so I actually went through the whole game without any other issues. But then I let the console sit for like a week again, and I came back to it, and it was doing the same thing, like choppy video. You know, I'd actually get like graphical errors when I try to start the game. Like, what is this? So I actually ended up taking the laser out of this thing, and these PS1 lasers are kind of weird. There's like all these little gears in them and stuff that move the laser up and down. And I think what happened was these little gears, over the years, the little bit of grease that's on them just kind of dried out. And so the gears were having trouble moving the laser around to play the game. So what I did was I just kind of, you know, cleaned the old grease off, and I got the a little bit of lithium grease, and I just kind of squirted it in there, and it seems like it works fine now. I haven't like tried it extensively or let it sit for a couple weeks yet, but it seems like it fixed it. So yeah, just want to give you guys a heads up. If you ever have that same kind of issue, it might not be the laser, it might not be the actual laser that's broken. It might just be like, you know, a little gears needs some lubrication. That's it. And I was playing it on my CRT as well, which looked really good. I have the S-Video hooked up. You cannot get component cables for the original PS1, so you have to use S-Video for the best quality with them. You know, unless you get like some kind of new, you know, homebrew kind of HDMI thing going for it. But what I did was play them with these monster cables. And I've had problems in the past with cables that weren't shielded. They're just kind of like cheap, you know, Chinese cables or whatever, and they weren't shielded, and the video quality would be terrible. It'd be like lines going down the screen, and I'm like, what's going on? So I found these in my closet. These used to belong to my brother, and I played them with this, and this cleaned up the picture. It was like night and day. They were like crystal clear with these old Monster S video cables. They're like all gold tipped and everything. So if you guys ever have a problem with, you know, lines running down the screen when you're trying to play the game, it's probably just your cable. That's not a very good cable. Anyway, I know that was kind of a tangent. So yeah, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, total classic, definitely recommend it. Another spooky game I played, I was kind of in the spooky mood still after playing Castlevania, and I finally got around to playing Dark Souls 3. This game is brutally hard. I played the first Dark Souls, not when it was new, but I want to say like 5 years ago, something like that. And I love that game. I thought that was a classic. You know, I actually played through it twice. I think I liked it so much. And that game just had like wild level designs, like crazy enemies. And it was scary. Like, I don't usually get scared by, you know, like ghost games or like survival horror kind of games. Saying that, you know, you get a zombie jump out at you, woo, you know, maybe spook you for a second. But this game, I mean, you go into it and you're walking down these dark halls, not knowing what to expect next. You get a literal sense of like dread and fear. And that's what I really like about these Dark Souls games. Now, I did play the second Dark Souls game. I'm very disappointed. Didn't like the level design, didn't like I think the combat was different too. It just did not, it didn't do it for me at all. So I think I only got like halfway through that one. I just stopped. This one though, I think they kind of returned to form. It felt a lot more like the first one. The combat was very good. You know, just the way you control the guy, like, it's hard to master, but it's fair. You know, the combat's very fair, and when you do get killed, which you do a lot, you feel like, I know some people say like, oh, I got cheated, you know, but I never felt like I got cheated. I just felt like, okay, this is a really hard boss and I need to figure out some way to beat him, you know, something like that. And I did play this game all the way through. I think I put about 60 hours on this one. I really enjoyed it. I could not beat it though. I got to the very last boss, and let me tell you, he just kicked my ass like almost immediately. I usually play these games as a magic user. So I'm, you know, instead of like running in and slashing with the sword, I'm kind of like running away, dodging, you know, blasting off magic attacks. And that strategy worked throughout most of the game for me. But on the last boss, you cannot really beat the guy with magic. You need to get in there with your sword and dodge and jump and dodge and jump. And I was only able to take away probably like 10% of his health. And then he just slaughtered me. I tried at least a dozen times, you know, just to try to figure out like some way to do this. Well, I probably figured it. I tried it way more than a dozen times actually, but I just felt like I had no hope of beating him. So I kind of just stopped. But But I felt like, you know, at least I got to the last boss. I can't do a New Game Plus, but I can at least say that I enjoyed the full game. This version actually comes with a couple different levels. It's the Fire Fades edition. So this came with like the extra 2 DLC levels. And I went through both of those too. They're very difficult as well. I went through one of them. Which one? The Ashes of Ariandel. I did get all the way through that one, but I couldn't beat the last boss on that one either. She was extremely difficult, and she had like 3 phases. And then the Ring City, that one was even harder. I think I only got about halfway through that one, and there's this part where there's 2 demons. I might show them to you in some video here. They just stomped me every time, and they have 2 phases as well. You know, I finally got to the second phase. I'm like, yeah, I won, and then the demon just like, it reemerges and just wiped me out immediately. So I was like, screw this game, I'm done. I was so demoralized after getting. That's the thing about these games. They can demoralize you after you get killed like 50 million times. You're just like, oh, I can't do it anymore. But I would definitely recommend this one. Number 1's still the best. 2 sucks. This one is very good too, even though it's I'd say it's much harder than the first one actually. So that's that. That's all the Dark Souls I have to talk about. Wow, this is turning into a long video, I think. I've got one more game that I've played. This is actually one I bought in 2022. I think I got it at a Black Friday deal for like 30 bucks. And I want to talk a little about this one because I know there's like a lot of controversy over this game, especially in the beginning. I kind of steered clear of it in the beginning because I heard nothing but complaining about it on the YouTube and all that. So when I bought it though, I think Sony or you know, Polyphony Digital had fixed everything that people were complaining about, because I didn't run into any issues with it. People were complaining that it felt like kind of a mobile game, I guess, where they're trying to like nickel and dime you to death. And when I started playing it, it wasn't like that at all. It just felt like a normal Gran Turismo game to me. You know, I just went through the normal game. I didn't do the online races. I was never really interested in that anyway. I know there's a huge community of online racers. But honestly, I'm just not that competitive. I just like to play against the computer. And this game has like more cars and, you know, just, it's probably the best Gran Turismo game I've ever played actually. And I still play this at least like 3 or 4 times a week. You know, I just pick it up and get a race in. And they are constantly updating this game still. Every so often they'll add some new cars or add you know, some new tracks, new music, like all this kind of different stuff. And the thing about it though is it is like an online service game, I guess. I don't think it's like a service game because you're not having to pay more for it. You know, once you buy it, you're not forced to like pay a subscription fee or like pay for any DLC. I don't think there's actually anything you have to pay for. There is an option to like buy more credits in the game for like real money, but I never even found that to be remotely necessary. If you're just playing through the game and winning the races, you get plenty of money to buy, you know, whatever cars you need. And I was really happy because at the beginning of the game, they had a couple of my real-life cars. They had my Mazda, and they had a Volkswagen GTI. Not the second gen like I have. They have the first gen at least. So I was a little happy about that. But I'm like, why don't they have a Subaru WRX in here? You know, like the second generation like I have. And with one of the updates a couple months ago or so, they finally added the Subaru WRX that I have. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm excited about this now. And it kind of reinvigorated my interest in the game. And I played a lot with that car, and they added like snow tracks and everything. I don't know, I'm just kind of like rambling now. But I upgraded the game to the PS5 version because I do have the PS5 now, and that costs $10. So I've got about $40 total in this game. But I have literally played this game over 200 hours throughout the last year, and I think that's pretty great value for 40 bucks. Now, my buddy Dean, he's also a Gran Turismo fan, but he is adamantly against this game. He hates it. And I don't think he's ever played it, but just the idea that it's something that you have to sign in online to play, he says it's a glorified rental, which I think technically he's right. You know, if this game's servers go down tomorrow, you cannot play it unless you want to play the offline mode. But the offline mode is not the same as the online mode at all. You know, you're not getting all the content. You know, you're getting like an arcade mode if you play offline. So if you do want to pick up this game sometime, you'll probably see it for $5, you know, in the future. It's not going to be a coaster, all right? It's going to be at least like somewhat of an arcade mode. And what I noticed, something interesting, at the beginning of when I first got it, I tried this offline arcade mode, and they had about 12 cars and about like 12 tracks, something like that. But I've noticed as they're updating the game and adding more tracks, those new tracks are also added to the offline mode in the game. So now you still have the same like 12 cars or whatever, kind of weak, but you have like 38 different tracks to race on. So that gives me hope that when this game does go offline and you can't, you know, log into it anymore, you know, maybe 5-10 years down the road, who knows, there won't be, you know, like nothing left. You know, there'll be something that they'll update, I believe, to just have like as an offline mode. And hopefully they'll add some more cars. I think the number of tracks they have already is great. I mean, 38 tracks, you can't ask for more than that. And they could, you know, they could update this offline mode to have 2-player. That's another one of my gripes. It's only a 1-player thing. You can't do split screen on it for some reason. But you know, just the fact that they're updating the tracks on the offline mode makes me think that they're going to do other stuff too. Once this game does go offline in the future, and we'll have, you know, the Gran Turismo 8 instead of this one, this won't be a coaster, at least. That's my feeling. So that's, I don't know, that's my little that's my 2 cents on Gran Turismo 7. Really love this game. It's like car porn, guys. If you really love cars, you can play this game. There's like a kind of like a photo shoot mode where you're just like watching videos of your favorite cars driving through like countrysides and stuff. And the graphics are amazing. So I've just had a blast with this game. So that's all the games I wanted to talk about today, guys. What I've started recently, this one is my buddy Tyler showed me. Or he didn't show me, he played this last year and he really recommended it. And I've had this game forever as well, I've just never played it. It's Dragon Quest VIII for the PS2. And I've put about 6 or 7 hours on it already. And I like it. It's not like the best JRPG I've ever played, but it's solid. It's kind of like a mix between like old school turn-based and like just kind of like 3D World new style kind of like the PS2 generation, I guess. But they did a really good job on it. Graphics are good, characters are funny. They have like voiceovers and everything. I would say it's pretty good value. I think this game's like $15 game still. I could be wrong. I wanted to show off something to Tyler here. This is something I've had forever too. I've got a sealed copy of this game, you know, with the what's it got in it, an art book or something. I've never opened it. I still have it sealed. But I wanted to show that off to my buddy Tyler because he is crazy about this game. He really loves it. And Tyler, also, I've got this ready to go. This is the game I will be picking up very soon to go through, Mega Man Legends for the PS1. And he's got this for his N64. It's called like Mega Man 64, but we're going to play that at the same time. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I'm kind of tired of talking now. I hope you guys are all doing well and enjoying your new year. It's 2024 already, jeez. And hopefully I'm gonna, start making videos on a more regular basis again. The next video I'm gonna make is not gonna be a game video. I'm just gonna do like a car update video. Just show you kind of guys, or, show you what's going on around my house a little bit with my car adventures. So, be good out there, and I'll see you soon. Take care.